Today we are going to start using a different formula. So far we have used the area formula for rectangles and squares, area equals length times width. Same basic process, it's just a different formula. And this is a very helpful formula, like if you're planning a trip and you need to know how long it's going to take you to get there so you can plan. So this one's a really good real life formula to use. So let's look at this first example here. Helen drives 220 miles to visit Niagara Falls. She drives at a speed of 55 miles per hour. How long will it take her to get to the falls? Now, the D that you see here stands for distance. Distance is how long it is from one place to another. So in this case, how far it is from Helen's house to Niagara Falls. That is your distance. Speed is how fast you're going, and speed can also be called rate sometimes. So that's why on this slide here I have speed, and then in parentheses I have rate. But your speed is how fast you're going. And then time, T, stands for time, and time can be in seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, years, but usually we stay with the seconds, the minutes, and the hours. And you fill in what you know. So on a piece of paper, I would do what I'm doing in red. I would do D equals S times T, because side by side means to multiply. I would read through my problem. Helen drives 220 miles to visit Niagara Falls. She drives at a speed of 55 miles per hour. How long will it take her to get to the falls? Now, I see 220 miles to visit Niagara Falls. So I know that is going to be my distance. So I'm going to replace that D with 220 and bring down the equal sign. And then it actually says she drives at a speed of 55 miles per hour. And I'll give you another little hint. Speed will always have that per in it. Miles per hour, seconds per feet. It will always have that per when it's talking about speed. But this literally comes out and says the speed of 55 miles per hour. So my S, my speed, I'm going to replace with 55. What I don't know is the time. So I have a multiplication equation. I want to solve for T. So I want to isolate the T. I want to get the T by itself on the right side of the equation. To do that, I do the opposite. The opposite of multiplying by 55 is to divide by 55. And we know whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must do to the other. So I must also divide the left side by 55. So look to your left side. All you have to do over there is the math. 220 divided by 55, which gives you 4. Bring down the equal sign. 55 divided by 55, this right here, that gives you 1. Well, 1T is just the same thing as saying I have T. So we say these divide out and leave me with the T by itself, which T stands for time. Now, is that going to be 4 seconds, 4 minutes, 4 hours? What would that be? To know that, you go back up there what I have highlighted in the green and you look at your speed. It's in miles, which that is what your distance is in, per hour, so that is your time. So that would be 4 hours. Okay, so if we look at the next one, I would write my formula on a piece of paper, and then I would read to see what I can fill in. A car traveled at 130 miles in 2 hours. How fast did the car travel? So I know it traveled 130 miles. Miles tells me that's in distance because I measure distance in inches, feet, yards, miles, centimeters, meters, kilometers. All those things measure distance. So since this is 130 miles, I'm going to replace that with 130. Bring down my equal sign. Into hours, and since it says hours, I know that's time, so I don't know the speed, and I know my time is 2. So again, I want to solve for s. So I want to isolate my variable s. To do that, I do the opposite. So instead of multiplying by 2, I divide by 2. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I do to the other. On the left side, 130 divided by 2 is 65. These cancel out or divide out, which leaves me with s, which stands for speed. So my speed is 65. Now, how do I label that? It's 65 miles per hour. So that would be miles per hour. You've seen MPH before. That stands for miles per hour.